Yo, when you hit 1,000,000 subs, you should swim in a kiddie pool of whipped cream to celebrate.
I'm never gonna hit 1,000,000 subscribers, so sure, whatever.
This is disgusting.
Oh, it really hurts. It's official. It's 1,000,000. You guys got me here, and unfortunately I had to suffer the wrath of my stupid past follies, where I had agreed to take a cream bath, and I actually really didn't think it would ever happen. Anyway, I got this fantastic play button, which is a great one to add to the wall. I think we have, Winston, how many we got now?
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including those 7.
7 play buttons, so quite an achievement.
2 gold ones.
2 golds. What's next? I don't even remember what the next one is. Anyway. Yes. Anyway, now that I've cleaned off from that delicious cream bath, by the way, it's not as satisfying as you think. I know when you go to bed at night, you probably think, what is it like to bathe in a kiddie pool full of whipped cream? It must be a dream of yours, right? Well, it's not. It's absolutely horrifying. You get covered in this film of grease for the rest of the day, actually multiple days afterwards. And I'll one up you here. The maraschino cherries that were splashed on me, they were left in the yard, right? And in the yard where the cherries were, the animals didn't even come to get them. So like when I've dropped food in the yard or I throw stuff out in the yard, it immediately gets picked up by deer or rabbits or rats or whatever is living out there, chipmunks, squirrels. They did not touch the cherries. And not only that, the grass died around the cherries. The grass died. Look at this picture. Anyway, I'm going to answer your questions because, I haven't done one of these in forever. Actually, I don't even know if I've done one of these in like 8 years. Answering your questions. It's 1,000,000 subscribers. It took us forever to get here, and we're finally here. It's time to celebrate, and I'd like to fire off some of your questions. Andrews says, if you could go back to China, what would be your first choice of food? And secondly, could you take me with you to the port of Dandong?
Port of Dandong.
Yes, I could take you to the port of Dandong. Unfortunately, I think we'd be arrested and thrown in jail if you were with me in particular. But first choice of food, weirdly enough, I was thinking about this the other day, it would be pao mo, which is this weird bread soup that you get in kind of central northwestern China, like around the Xi'an area. It's got chunks of lamb or goat in it, and it's got these little chunks of bread in it, and it's so freaking delicious. Oh, noodles too. It's so good, and it's so, I don't know, I just haven't had anything like it. I've gotten pao mo in the US when I go to Chinatowns around the country, and it's just not been the same as what I've had in China. This video is brought to you by the best VPN in the entire world, Surfshark VPN. I'm proud to work with Surfshark because they are the best VPN in the business that takes your internet connection, secures it, encrypts it, and makes sure that nobody can see what you're doing online. Now, why is that important? Well, everything we do, all of our identity, everything that we access online is tied to our information, and you don't want random people out there getting that information and then doing nefarious things with it. That's why Surfshark is so great. Hop around to servers all around the world on unlimited devices to make sure that your connection is encrypted and safe. Not only that, but you can use Surfshark to hop around to different servers around the world to get better deals on hotels or travel tickets, all kinds of stuff like that. It's fantastic. Also, don't forget you can use Surfshark VPN to access different Netflix libraries, or you're in a country that doesn't have shows that you want to watch, hop around to a different server and see if that show is available in a different country. Here's something special for you. Go to surfshark.deals/LAOI86 and you're going to get up to 4 months extra on a 24-month subscription. It's fantastic. Don't forget to go to surfshark.deals/LAOI86. Thanks. Todd says, after 1,000,000 subs, what's the next goal for your channel? Actually had some really interesting ideas. Me and Winston were spitballing the other day. We actually would like to experiment with some America content. It's not what you think it is. It's something really, really interesting and exciting and definitely off the wall. And Winston and I tend to do experiments like this, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. We think this one will probably work. It sounds like it's going to be a blast, so stay tuned for that. Between you and Winston, who would throw up first after slurping a whole bowl of shill broth? I'll tell you what, since we're not shills, we don't sip the shill broth. As soon as you sip the shill broth, you become a shill. If you watch the China show on Fridays, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. The shill broth is a truly disgusting substance. Tjin669 says, what is your favorite third tier or lower tier city? So that means not the main cities in China. Absolutely, without a doubt, hands down is Yinchuan in Ningxia province. It's a Muslim province, minority province in northwestern China, kind of near Inner Mongolia and Xinjiang. And the reason I liked it so much was it was really, really different from the rest of China, but at the same time, I could get around with speaking Mandarin, so that was very easy to get around. The food was out of this world. The food is like a mixture of Chinese food and Central Asian, or like, food you'd find in the Muslim regions of the world. Unreal delicious, and some of the nicest, most hospitable people that took me around, answered my questions, like really just showed me a great time when I was there. In fact, I share a little bit of history with John Cena. Apparently John Cena lived in Yinchuan as well, and I have no idea why. Artie says, favorite Imagine Dragons song? I don't remember how that started. Winston, do you remember how that started? Oh yeah, I think I said I disliked Imagine Dragons. Yeah, but it's actually become such a psyop to me that now I think I like Imagine Dragons because I'm supposed to, because the audience told me I have to. What is the craziest thing you saw firsthand while living in China? There's too many crazy things, and actually I have a perfect video for that. It was like the 5 scariest things that happened to me in China. It's definitely worth checking out. FMA, as Wood says, as a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? I think most kids have some like fantasies about being like an astronaut or something like this, but actually, since I was probably, I'm gonna say 6 or 7 years old, I wanted to be a park ranger. I wanted to go and live out in the woods, maintain trails, document what wildlife I saw, and just in general take care of the park system in the US. I think that is still something I'm very interested in. Probably not something I'm gonna pursue, but something that I really respect and I really like. And when I go to parks, especially like national parks and stuff, I often chat with the park rangers, see what's going on. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's something I've really been interested in my whole life. I love nature and things like that. This is from Soul Race, if China were to become a free and functional democracy overnight, how would that impact international relations with other countries? Would the West, Philippines, and Japan become allies or friends? I think very quickly, yes. If China, for some reason, miraculous wind like swept over China and it became a democracy, I think very quickly countries that were already used to doing huge business with China that are currently in the process of de-risking or decoupling would actually probably cozy back up to China pretty quickly. You'd have a government that would be more trustworthy, more in line with the values of these other countries, in particular countries that have democracies already like Japan, Philippines, and the US. I think it would be a very easy sell to repair relations, and I don't think that's gonna happen. Blub525 says, if you could go back in time and tell your younger self that was previously living in China to leave before things got bad, would you? I'd probably give myself a little heads up and be like, things are about to go south and you might not make it out. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad things transpired the way they did, because it kind of let a lot of people around the world understand what a threat living under the Chinese government is if you want to express yourself, have freedom of speech, or even just show the positive sides of China, but not under the thumb of the government. I want people to see that. I want people to understand the risks that are involved in that. And I think the things that happened to Winston and I towards the end there are very important in illustrating that. Sluchiani says, how can you prove the most stubborn skeptics that your info is legit? I thought this was an interesting comment because it looked like a bit of a psyop happened below it. Not only do I cite almost all my sources, but I point that out very often. If you go on any of my videos where I've done any bit of research, you will find 5, 10, 15, 20 sources sometimes below in the description, where you can follow through on everything that I've quoted, everything that's been proven to be fact. And if it's not something that's in there, it's something that I got from the Chinese internet or from somebody in China. So it's very simple. You can go to any of my videos, everything is cited. It is factual, and I would not put out anything that I did not believe to be factual. Chaxologist 2961. What is the state of Chinese workers like the middle class, their job security, etc.? I need a comparison because I work in an Amazon warehouse here in the US and I want to know how much I fare compared to the higher, more educated Chinese in terms of salary and quality of life. Middle class in China, I mean, it's hard to put a real hardcore factual number on that. And the reason is the Statistics Bureau in China massage everything. But if you were to talk to Chinese people, I'd say the average person, like in a professional career, is making about $1,000 a month, maybe $2,000 a month on the higher end of things. If you're talking about somebody in the middle class in China, like an average salary wage worker, you know, maybe like $500 to $800 a month from people I talk to. I know that when I recently spoke to people from a very rich, wealthy city in China that were just college graduates getting a master's degree out of university, those people were making about, if I do the math here, about $300 to $600 a month just right out of college. So it's very dire. Like, you got to understand, China's not incredibly cheap. It's not this unbelievably cheap country like you might find in like Southeast Asia where everything doesn't cost very much money. China's relatively expensive. It doesn't have to be if you're living out in the countryside and you're buying like local farm ingredients or something like this. But if you're living in a city and trying to function in society, it's not the cheapest place in the world. So Fomarian says, what is something that makes you most hopeful about the future of China? There's obviously a lot of concerning and downright disturbing stuff, but I think I'm not the only one who could use some positive thinking in these trying times. I think that is absolutely true. I think positive thinking and positivity is going to be the way forward for a lot of this stuff. Now, unfortunately, Chinese people don't have the luxury or ability to be able to change their country politically. It's just not going to happen under the current rule, right? That being said, maybe for some reason the government decides to stop being evil and maybe institute some changes from the top that are actually good for the people. Maybe some safety standards change. Maybe instead of hiding things, they actually let people talk. But you know what the biggest thing that could change things would be? Is to allow Chinese people to be able to go on the rest of the internet, to be able to participate in YouTube and Facebook and all this kind of stuff. I think it would be super messy right in the beginning, but the fact that Chinese people are blocked from the entire world's discourse is crazy. If you go to countries, I'm not even joking, if you go to countries like Vietnam, which have like stifled freedom of speech and huge human rights issues, like massive authoritarian communism, you know, like looking down over people, you still have the fact that Vietnamese people can go on these websites, even if they're monitored, go on Facebook and Twitter and all these kind of websites and still have discourse with the rest of the world. And it actually shows in the populace, seem to know a lot about what's happening in the rest of the world. And I think if you let Chinese people have access to freedom of information, things would slowly have to change. And I think that would be the first positive. Frank Williams, do you miss living in China? Culture, food, friends, or do you prefer the USA? What do you miss most about China life? Of course, I'm always gonna miss China. I'm gonna miss so many aspects of China. A lot of the things that I absolutely love. The things I criticize now, the government, the freedom of speech, the ability to exercise your political freedom, the ability to make things happen is not something you can do in China. And that's stuff that I really, really appreciate the US for. I mean, by leaps and bounds, the U.S. is a much, much freer country, like for all intents and purposes, almost on every front. That being said, I'm going to miss things like the restaurants, the food, the friends, and the people that I met when I was there. Well, guys, it was a journey to get here to 1 million subscribers. I can't believe we've done it. It's fantastic. A lot more content going forward, maybe some changes going forward. I think you guys are gonna really like it either way. I'm so glad that you're already subscribed to the channel. If you're watching this, you're probably already subscribed to the channel. I want to remind you to go down and check out the China Show. Every single Friday I do with Serpent ZA. We're doing China's hot topics, viral news, everything in between, like the economy, everything that you want to know about China happens on the China Show. So definitely be over there, be ready for that, and be subscribed for that. You can watch it live or you can watch it in post. It doesn't matter, but I'd really love having you there. I want to thank you to everyone that subscribed to actually make this happen. I really appreciate all of you, and I'll catch you on the next one.